wheel. Okay, so this one requires a little bit more setup, and then you will need to also sometimes delete away faces and then recombine faces again in order to get the shape that you want. Right, so let's start off from a brand new slate again. Start off with a polyplane. Okay, we don't need so many divisions, and assign a new material. Use a surface shader. And okay, now I have to go through, find a wheel. Okay, maybe I'll use this one. Then click open. Press number 6 so that we can see the wheel. And rotate the reference 90 degrees. So we can position this at the side. Go to the side view and position it until it is right at the center, like so. Okay, so I'm going to put this in its own layer, and I'm going to lock it. We can start to do our modeling. Now, instead of using a cylinder, I'm just going to use a box right now. So start off with a cube. Okay, hold on, shift right mouse click, and then create a polygon cube. Give it 2 subdivisions like that. So create a cube looking something like this. And you want to delete away the bottom faces. You get rid of the bottom faces. And then now go to the right view. And you start to model the first spoke. Okay, so I'm going to start off by scaling this on the side this way to match the shape of this spoke here. Then grab the top vertices and move it until it reaches the rim. Okay, I can turn on X-ray to see behind the details. Switch to edge mode and then insert edge loops right on areas which you want to reshape to match. So at this stage, you can consider this like we are doing the blocking for the wheel. So you don't have to insert too many edge loops. Okay, while in vertex mode, start to move the vertices until it matches the shape. You can use combination of non-uniform scale to match the shape of the wheel. Okay, maybe another edge loop here. While the edge loop is still selected, you can scale it up like that. Now, because we don't have any right view reference, you will have to use your own imagination to try to figure out how much this spoke is actually protruding. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to duplicate instances, so you can see what the wheel looks like when it's about to be, when it's all joined together, when all the spokes are joined together. So if you go to object mode, make sure the pivot is right at the center here. This is very important. Now, if your pivot has shifted for some reason, go and move it until it's dead center here. Go right ahead and then duplicate special. Click on the option box. Go and create an instance. Okay, an instance. And because we are creating how many copies here, we need to create 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 copies. So enter 4 copies. We don't need to change the scale. Okay, we need to rotate in which axis here? We need to rotate in the x-axis. So in the x-axis, 360 divided by 5 is how many degrees? Is 72. So enter 72 and then duplicate special. So now we have a bunch of instances that when we move the vertices, the rest of the shape will also follow. So you can use that to judge whether your wheel is coming along fine. Now, the next part we want to create is this section here. We want to pull out an extension so that it can bridge over to this area. So to do that, we have to go to perspective view. And right now, our spokes are looking a little bit thin. I'm going to select the entire object and scale it up a little bit more. Give it some width. Okay, And now I want to create this connecting rim here. And I'm going to insert one edge loop here. Okay, so that I can grab only these two faces to create my rim. So in fact, I'm going to just select the opposing sides and go ahead and extrude them. Okay, let them come out like this for now. And then use your the move tools to make sure that you get out, go and select the vertices like that. Use the move tool and then move it down until it follows the shape of the wheel. Okay, grab the vertices, use the rotate tool to rotate until it forms the orientation, or rather it conforms to the orientation of the edge of the wheel. Okay, and you can manually move them until they are touching almost halfway. And the good thing about this is that you can go to the reference itself, the instance itself, and then move it. Now, granted, you can't really merge the instance together with the original object. Okay, but what you can do is you can use the snapping tool to snap them together. Okay, so every time you do an extrusion, please remember to delete away. Okay, remember to delete away the faces at the end, like that. Okay, this is very important. You want to keep an empty hole like this. Right. I'm going to press 4 to go to wireframe mode, and I'm going to use the snapping tool, holding down the V middle mouse click to snap. Now, we are not really actually merging them together. We're just snapping them into place. Okay, just to see whether the wheel is forming nicely or not. Okay, right now I'm just going to manually grab these and place them close together like that. Again, the V, middle mouse click, V, middle mouse click in move mode, and snap them into place. So take note, we have not welded the wheels together. We're only forming the basic shape. And we can continue to shape the wheel. Okay, you can go to X-ray mode, insert more edge loops. I'm going to insert one more edge loop here. Okay, select the edge loop and then manually move it, and then you can use the rotate key to make sure that the line is always radiating out this angle from the center. It is very important. Rotate this until the line is radiating out from the center. Okay, so now we have the round section of the spoke, or rather the rim. Okay. Okay, now I just want to do some sculpting to sculpt to make sure that the wheels are following the general shape. Okay, for example, this edge here, I can select these two opposing edges. Let me just get out of X-ray. Scale it inwards like that, so that I have this sculpted look on the wheel. Okay, I also noticed that in this reference, there's another piece of metal that actually extrude outwards. So I should have extruded this piece and form another rim here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete away these faces. On the opposing side as well. And I'm going to extrude using the right view, using extrude, and then pull out another section here from that bit. Press V again to extrude. If your repeat doesn't work, okay, just hold down the shift right mouse click and extrude face again using the global switch manipulator and then move it out. Okay. For this, we need to stitch everything back together again. So since this is part of the mesh itself, you can press W to move and stitch the vertex back in again. Okay, you can see a gap behind here. Okay, during my extrusion, I also formed this additional face. Make sure you delete the internal faces. And then holding down the V and then stitch it back here and stitch it back here. Now, I'm only snapping the vertices into place. They are not merged at all, so you will need to use the merge command. And then finally, this face, delete it away. Okay, I should have selected the 3 faces and extrude it just now. So now I have to re-extrude this section again. So extrude the face, pull out one section here, and use rotate, and then extrude another face out, pull it down, use the rotate, and then rotate the face. And then this face, and delete it away. The internal faces again, remember to go inside here to delete away this face, and delete away this face. Using vertex mode, and move, select the vertex, hold on to the V key, middle mouse key, and drag and snap it into place. Again, like I said, we are only snapping it to place, it is not merged. So we need to run the merge command later on. Okay. So how do you run the merge command? All you need to do is, since the vertices are sitting on top of each other, you can grab all those vertices which I knew are sitting on top of each other, and then just run the merge command. The default value 0.01 should be sufficient, and when you merge, and now when I click on this vertex, rather than dragging a box over it, it is a single vertex. It's no longer 2 vertices. Okay, so now I created that ledge here. So let's say I'm happy with this. I'm ready to make this into an actual wheel itself. Okay, you need to extend this portion. Right now this wheel is too thin, so we need to grab the end portion here and give it enough width and girth, right, like this. Let's take a look at the wheel. What it looks like in shaded form. We are pretty close to what we want, except for maybe the bottom area here. We need to stitch together. So if I press number 3 to subdivide it, it looks okay. Okay, the reason why you see all these ugly seams here is because we still have not joined all these 4 pieces together. Okay, but we need to fix this, the center area here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my face level, and let's see what we can do to join these faces together. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to join these 2 pieces together. Like these 2, I'm going to get rid of the remaining spokes. We're going to join these 2 pieces together. Select these 2 pieces and go and create mesh combine. So now these 2 pieces are joined together so that I can do bridging between the faces here. And also, I can also merge the vertices here because these vertices are still technically separated. So I'm going to grab these group of vertices here because they are previously separated, and then I'm going to merge them. Okay, so now they've been merged already. So let's go to shaded view, and we're going to see how we are going to join this section together. Now I'm going to get rid of these bottom faces. Okay, they have been gotten rid of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to bridge this face together, these 2 opposing faces together. And because now they are joined together, they can be easily bridged. And then I'm going to patch these 2 edges together, and these 2 edges, bridge them together. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Actually, I should have pushed the The reference is in my way now. I've unlocked the channel and then I'm gonna push it back. Okay, so I'm going to grab these parts and I'm gonna push it back in again. I realized that I should be only grabbing these top faces and pulling it out, not the spokes itself. So I'm gonna select the loop. Okay, and then I'm going to extrude the face and this will make much more sense. Yeah. Right, so now I'm gonna fix this here using bridge. And if I go to subdivided view, I've got that webbing which I've nicely created now. So go back to shaded view or rather X-ray view and then continue to tweak until you get the rounded shape that you want. And now, in order to get all the spokes nicely joined together, we got to do another deleting operation. I'm going to get rid of these faces. So now I end up with this element here. You can continue to pick this until you get the curvature matching the circular look of the wheel. Just by rotating groups of vertices like that, and then pulling them until you get a very nice corner like this. Okay, there's still another face here which I need to delete. This face, I need to delete this face that's sticking out. Get rid of this and get rid of this. Okay, so now we got one section that we nicely done for the wheel. So the next thing you need to do is just repeat the duplicate special again. Edit duplicate special using the same settings, and you see that now your wheel is almost done. Okay, let's say that I'm happy with this wheel. Let me just tweak some more. Okay, I'm going to grab these central vertices here, and I just pull it out a little bit, so give it some definition. Same for this group here. Pull it out slightly. So you got this bulging outlook of the car wheel. So you can see it's turning out pretty okay. Not too bad, if I might say so. And then you can now join all of them together. So select all the pieces and then go and mesh combine them. Let me just save this first in case I mess it up. Okay, so always remember to save. So go ahead and select and then mesh combine. So now all of them are combined together. But take note, although they are combined together, the vertices are still separate. We need to run one more operation. You need to select all the vertices. And then select all the vertices and then run a merge operation. Merge. Okay, I got a lot of history. I'm going to delete the history. Alt-Shift-D. And your wheel is basically done, almost done. So okay, we still have some areas here which we didn't merge properly. So you will need to manually go and stitch it up. You can see if I go to vertex mode, there are still two vertices floating around here. Another thing that you can try to do is increase the threshold. So I'm going to go and select all the vertices again. And I'm going to apply a merge and click on the option box and increase the threshold. And then I'm going to try merging it again. And yeah, it works. But please do not increase the threshold too much. Otherwise, it will merge all the vertices together. All right, so now we are done. We can press number 3 and see what it looks like subdivided. Okay. And for the whole, like I mentioned earlier in the previous video, you can select this and you can patch it up by doing a fill hole or extrude, pulling the green arrow, and then fill the hole. Okay, select the back hole here, extrude, and then fill the hole. Now, if you have any nuts and bolts and everything, okay, you have to spend a lot of time, right, to actually create the holes to put that in. In order to keep this tutorial short, I have to speed things up a little bit. Now, you notice right now there are certain areas which are a bit rounded. If you want it to be a little bit tighter, insert the edge loop, go to insert edge loop to create a tighter corner. Okay, so you could have done this when you're working on the single section. So right now I have to do it for every single spoke. So the thing is, if you're working on one section of the spoke, it's not so much of a problem. Okay, but right now, because the edge loop, especially for this area, doesn't run repeatedly, I have to do it for every single spoke. Okay, so all these adding of edge loop is just to tighten up the corners. Okay, and then basically your wheel is done. Okay, of course there's still some tweaks here and there. So that is the preferred method, at least for me, to model the alloy wheel.